What is up, everyone? Here is FOS giving you reviews and trailer breakdowns on the CW DC shows that we got to see this week. This video could contain spoilers, so warning given. Now, here is the start with Supergirl. This week's episode of Supergirl, otherwise known as Martian Chronicles, mainly covered, as the title suggests, on the Martian. Miss Martian and John Jones are finally facing off the White Martian who came to Earth, since we got to know about them in the previous episode because of what was happening to Miss Martian. We also see Miss Martian leaving Earth, maybe permanently, but I think temporarily because she will come back eventually. Miss Martian goes to Mars and tries to fight over she tries to help the Green Martians fighting the White Martians. I believe this was not a proper goodbye. In fact, I do think that Miss Martian will be back on the series, maybe just as a supportive character. Maybe she'll come down to Earth asking for John Jones to help her fight against the White Martians. In this episode, we also deal with Kara's birthday, where she invites Alex to do something, as they always plan something for her birthday, but Alex ditches her because she has plans with her new girlfriend. We also do see Mon-El's relationship with Kara, and he is currently having a date with someone else, trying to move forward from Kara's crush. So this was my review for this week's episode. Now let's move on to the promo of tomorrow's episode.
We're the only two Luthers left, and we need to be there for each other.
I know she's your friend, but Lena's bad news.
I believe in her.
You have so much faith in her, but none of me is guarding you.
Together, we can do all the great things you ever dreamed of.
Everything we need to rid this planet of Kryptonians once and for all.
Supergirl, all new this Monday at 8, 7 Central on the CW.
So this was the promo for tomorrow's episode of Supergirl, otherwise entitled as Luthors. From Luthors, we definitely know that the Luthors that we know in this series will be back, including Lena and her mother. We can see James is trying to hold off Supergirl because of the kryptonite. I think it was kryptonite. In fact, there are kryptonite blasts, and just like the ones we saw in the second episode of the series, where Superman is angry at John Jones. Maybe there will be some reference to that. We also do see that Lena will be trying to be friends with Kara anyways. So yeah. Now, from National City to Earth 1 Central City. This week's episode of The Flash was the 12th episode of the third season, otherwise known as Untouchable. In this episode, we mainly see, finally, Joe finding out about Iris's eventual death that will happen in the future, around May, because of Savitar. We get to see his reaction, which was pretty much dope. It was the best reaction, I'd say. I mean, it was understandable. We also do see the main villain for this episode, also known as Clive Yorking, which his power is to turn anything into ash. Everything he touches becomes ash, which is pretty damn awesome. I mean, scary as well, because if he touches you, you're basically gonna be dying. We also do get to see in the very beginning a so-called race between the two speedsters, Kid Flash and Flash, where Flash obviously wins by using the trick of phasing. It is funny seeing how Flash tells Kid Flash that he is the fastest man alive, and that there is no way that Kid Flash could surpass him right now. We also do see Kid Flash not being fast enough to save Iris from Clive Yorking. As you know, anything he touches turns into ash, and thanks to Caitlin this is prevented. In fact, Caitlin just keeps Iris alive for a bit. until she gets to become Killer Frost again. Although we do see Julian trying to stop her. In fact, he does. Caitlin controls her powers and saves Iris. Another thing I loved about this episode was how Cisco used his vibing powers to vibe Flashpoint. He did, and it was just awesome. Another thing that was mind-blowing was how Flash just vibrated a whole train to be fast enough to phase through an object. That was just mind-blowing. Trust me, it was one of the best scenes. I think it was the best scene that we got to see in this episode. We also do see that this makes have courage Wally, and Wally just makes it in time, phases through Clive Yorkin's body and places blood on in his system, which makes him vulnerable. From that, they were able to make an antidote for Iris. The ending of this episode left us with a cliffhanger where we see a breach opening up. Jesse Quick comes up and alerts Wally about Grodd capturing her father.
A friend of ours is lost on a parallel Earth, and we're gonna go get him back.
A parallel Earth. Are you going to Planet of the Apes?
No, it's just a city of them.
Welcome to the jungle, baby. It's Planet of the Apes, isn't it?
No, calm down. It's a trap.
Welcome, Flash.
Speedster versus Supergirl. Best, worst video game ever.
The Flash Gorilla City 2-episode event begins Tuesday, February 21st on the CW.
This one that you just watched was the promo for the next episode, which is episode 13, otherwise entitled as Attack on Gorilla City. From what the title suggests, it is about gorillas. In fact, from the cliffhanger that was left in the previous episode, we do know that Jesse Quick's father, also known as Harrison Wells from Earth 2, was captured by Grodd. The Team Flash members that are going to Earth 2 are Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, and Julian. They are going there because of their skills they have. Barry is the hero. Julian because he's an expert in expeditions, as we know this from few episodes backwards in this season. Cisco because of his vibing powers. Thanks to him, they actually make a bridge to get there. Caitlin because she can talk to Grodd. It will be definitely interesting seeing how this will be playing out. In fact, it's gonna be a 2-part episode event that will be starting on the 21st of February. And yes, we will be seeing Solovar, which is another gorilla that I think will be the good gorilla. Grodd will be the bad gorilla, I suppose. And probably, yes, he will be playing a trick over Team Flash. He'll try to tell something to Caitlin, I'd say. Caitlin will believe that, but then again, he will probably just play on her, since she kind of did in season 2 when they sent him on Earth 2. Now, from speeding around Central City, it is time for us to move on and find the time travelers, otherwise known as Legends of Tomorrow. In this 11th episode of this second season of Legends of Tomorrow, otherwise known as Turncoat, we do see Rip Hunter, a version of him, finally back on set, although this one is kind of an evil version. From what we know from last episode, we did see Reverse Flash messing with Captain Hunter's memory, making him evil. In fact, we did see that he killed George Washington, although the Legends came after him and saved him. We also do see a full face-off between the Legends and this Rapunzel. In fact, what Rapunzel does is shoot Sarah, making her in dying conditions. Jackson then gives the Spear of Destiny that they had to Rapunzel after he attacked the Wave Rider and is about to kill Sarah. Well, he doesn't know that even if he gives the Spear of Destiny to Rip Hunter, Sarah won't live. In fact, what happens is that Rip just kills her. Although Sarah still lives because of Gideon. Jackson then loses his temper and goes off to Rip Hunter and tries to kill him, but Sarah comes and prevents him from doing so because they have a promise that they will bring back the real Rip Hunter, the one that they know. What happens next is that the other legends come back from this attack and they have this party. Now it's time for the promo of the next episode.
Where are we headed?
Medieval England.
Setting a course for the year 507 AD.
We shall escort you to Camelot.
Camelot isn't about history.
Evil draws close,
It's about one noble idea.
but we must rise.
You ready to go get medieval out there?
DC's Legends of Tomorrow, all new Tuesday, February 21st on the CW.
Promo. I love this promo, and something tells me I will love this episode, and I'd say that it will be one of the best of the series. This episode will be about Camelot. They will be going back to Camelot era where we have King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. What will happen is that the Legend of Doom will be doing something, will be complotting, and will be messing with time again. And probably they will be giving future arm tech to the enemies of the Camelot army. I really loved about this promo is seeing Ray Palmer using that, let's say, Excalibur, using this future tech. It was just amazing. I mean, it was mind-blowing. I love this scene. And we did see that there is one member of the Legion of Doom in this episode, which is Damien Dark. I guess that he will be the only one alongside with Rip Hunter. In fact, in the previous episode we just saw one of the Legion of Doom characters, which was Eobard Thawne. In this promo episode we do see the round tables, and that's why I'd say we will be seeing some King Arthur reference, at least one. This was it for Legends of Tomorrow, and now it's time for Arrow. This 12th episode of this 5th season of Arrow, otherwise entitled as Bratva, consisted on Team Arrow finally going in Russia and facing Bratva. What happens is that Bratva, what he first does is punches Oliver. In fact, Anatoly just punches him. We also do see Dinah practicing her canary powers, as well as Felicity going on an evil side, just acting like an evil, and they fake themselves as Bratva and threaten someone to get Walker's location, which is the main bad guy that needs to be dealt with in this episode. We do see some flashback to an Arrow version, the first Arrow version, and we do see Ollie being again a Bratva member. In fact, he does the job for he does Anatoly's job for him, and Anatoly does give him something back. In fact, they give him Walder's location. In this episode, we also do see how Diggle and Felicity went on a dark side. In fact, Diggle just punched the guy they got to get Walker's position, although it was, it was useless. In fact, nothing happened. And what I really liked is how Ollie dealt with them. Although I do think that Felicity will be going back to this dark side. Another thing I really loved about this episode was how Ragman saved everyone with using his rags to stop this bomb's explosion. He sacrificed his own rags, so that means that he can't use his rags to save people again. Yeah, he can't be a vigilante again, a hero. I believe he will be back again. This because I did hear that there will be an episode mainly focusing on Ragman's background stories, and they will be going back to how he got his rags. In the ending of this episode, we did see Oliver's girlfriend using a contact to find out about Ollie's past as a Bratva member, and she also finds out that Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow. Now it's time to watch the promo of next week's episode.
What's your administration position on gun control?
It is complicated. If the bad guys got guns, then I'm strapping up too. We cannot dismiss the idea that we are just feeding into a vicious cycle.
Find whoever did this.
I have to before he does it again.
This is a problem that the Green Arrow can't solve.
So from this episode we can say that there will be few things that will be happening in this episode, and one of these things will be about Oliver Queen not being much of a vigilante but more as a mayor of Star City. In fact, because of this shooting, he will be dealing with people, a lot of people. He will be dealing with this memorial. In fact, we did see a picture about him standing alongside with Thea, which is back, as well as Quentin Lance and Renee Ramirez. Bit where Quentin Lance tells to Oliver Queen that this is not a problem that the Green Arrow can solve is what I mean that by being a mayor more than a vigilante hero, because he will be facing more mayor stuff in this episode, and it will just show that being a mayor will be a form of being a hero to Oliver Queen. And the reason why we do see Rene Ramirez a lot in this promo is because of his background. I'd say he probably had background stories involving shootings, and that's why we see him a lot in this episode. In fact, I did hear some news that there will be an episode focusing mainly on Rene Ramirez's past. So this was it, guys. Thanks for staying to watch this video with us. This one was our CWDC week review, including promo breakdowns, so please do leave a like, subscribe and share. Thanks for the support, guys. May the Speed Force be with you all, and see you next week.